We have some spicy Destiny drama that we have to cover today. Grenadier Jake is well known for doing trials carries. He's a legend within the Destiny 2 community. A lot of people know him, but he's having to sue another former Destiny content creator because apparently he had a loan stolen from him. We're going to go through and watch this video and break down all the details of this big news story that everyone's talking about right now.
An appropriate way to start this video. This is all very legal and sensitive, so I will be reading a script, but that does not mean that it is not very authentic and very genuine. It is so unfortunate that I've been forced to put out this video today. Yesterday, I filed a lawsuit in Texas against Gamers First, Kenny Vaccaro, and Triple Rec for their failure to pay me back for a loan. In 2022, I loaned Evolve PCs $100,000 so they could continue to operate while waiting for an investment. The founder of Evolve was a fellow Destiny creator named Triple Rec, and after a heart-to-heart I had with him on a phone call, the loan felt like a practically risk-free opportunity to help a colleague, while also making sure the Evolve team didn't have to work through the holidays unpaid.
All right, so to give you a quick breakdown of what he's talked about so far, especially if you haven't been caught up on everything that's been going on in Destiny in the last 9 years, Triple Rec is a well-known content creator, especially in the D1 days. He was one of the biggest PvP content creators within Destiny, especially on Twitch. And then he obviously left from making Destiny content into going into like the pre-built PC business, and he created his business called Evolve, where they sell these pre-built PCs, etc. Now, on top of that, we have Kenny Vaccaro being put into the mix here, and Kenny Vaccaro is an ex-NFL player that launched a team called G1 Official, and they were like a Destiny esports team. And I know that makes absolutely no sense at all because there's no esports in Destiny, which is why they quickly transitioned their Destiny esports team into just general esports. And I believe they have like a Halo team and a few other things like that. So that's where these two names come from. They're both within the Destiny sphere. They may not be names that you're familiar with, but they're definitely both in the Destiny sphere.
The investment the following month, and therefore my immediate payback, seemed like a guarantee. Fortunately, I took all legal precautions with the loan and put in place the necessary paperwork to protect myself. Though repayment was supposed to be quick due to an incoming investment, it unfortunately fell through, and my initial loan repayment due date of January 1st, 2023 passed by. Evolve then pivoted to acquisition, and that's where things start getting screwy. In early 2023, I'm informed that Evolve is being acquired by Gamers First, the esports organization founded by former NFL player Kenny Vaccaro, and that G1 will be assuming the repayment of my loan. At this point, G1 was an up-and-coming organization, and after several discussions with Kenny, I felt very confident. During this process, I was reassured multiple times by Kenny Vaccaro that my debt would be taken care of, and in June 2023, we put in place the legal paperwork to reflect that. I was supposed to be repaid in full plus interest by January 1st, 2024. Triple Rec remained the guarantor. Triple Rec remained the guarantor on the loan, which meant if G1 didn't come through by that date, the repayment responsibility would also be on him.
All right, so another quick breakdown of the timeline here. All right, you have Triple Rec, former Destiny content creator. He owns Evolve PCs. He's obviously going to be good friends with Grenadier Jake, someone that's very prominent, very well known within the Destiny 2 community. And so he basically asked Jake, hey, can I get a loan from you? Can I get $100,000, which is a massive loan, by the way. And he isn't the only person that he actually asked this from. We also have several other content creators that this was asked from. We know that Gigs was also asked this as well, and apparently gave like $25,000. So a bunch of people got screwed over by this situation. Apparently they were just loaning so much more money than they could possibly afford, and then they were thinking that they were going to be able to pay people back, but then they had no chance. They weren't able to at all. And so now G1 has acquired Evolve, and now G1, I'm assuming what Jake's about to get into, I'm assuming that G1 then can't actually pay back the debt that he's meant to pay back, which is just an extremely sketchy and just a shitty situation overall. Obviously, first you have Triple Rec, who's incurred just a ton of debt from all these people, like getting all these loans from all of his friends, and he's acquired all this debt, and then just before he has to pay back this debt, now he gets bought by G1. And so now we're going to see what issues we have with G1 actually paying this back. Let's jump back into it.
Several months later, a bunch of non-payment allegations against G1 started to become public, and I became skeptical that I'd be getting my money back. In December, I reached out to Kenny directly to get some reassurance that I'd be paid in January, and I was less than reassured. Following the repayment's due date, and after multiple attempts by my team and I to keep lines of communication open regarding that payment, I was ghosted by Gamers First and Kenny.
Damn.
Since we last spoke, my team has found some interesting information about Kenny and Gamers First, which provides important context for my dealings with them. Apparently, we are not the only ones suing Kenny and Gamers First, as the landlord of the widely reported G1 facility is also suing them in Texas for unpaid rent. That lawsuit even alleges that Kenny failed to pay the rent on the facility 2 weeks before G1 acquired Evolve and the debt owed to me, which, if true, shows that Kenny would have had to have been aware of financial problems prior to the acquisition and cast doubt on his potential ability to follow through with the repayment.
Damn, that's crazy.
The reality is...
All right, now we're getting to the bottom of this deep and dark twisted plot that we have here. We got former Destiny content creator Triple Rec going around picking up all these loans from Destiny players, people that he's made friends and contacts with. He's taken 100,000 from Jake here. He's taken 25,000 from Gigs and countless others. So many other people responded, replied, quote tweeted this saying that they also owed them money as well. So you have all these other people saying, hey, this guy owes me a ton of money. So then what he does is the company's going belly up. He does an acquisition. Another company buys him out. They're going to supposedly pay off all his debts. You'd think they'd be good for the money, especially when you got that like NFL money, because you know NFL players generally speaking have quite a bit of money. I guess that was the assumption to some degree. So it seems like a safe bet right there in that. But then you have that going through as well, that going belly up as well. And so now you have Kenny Vaccaro not paying any of these debts, apparently not paying back Grenadier Jake here, as well as several others. And so now the plot has thickened quite a bit, and also he accepts this debt, he accepts this loan from Jake, which is really smart for Jake to make sure to get a loan, not just wire him some money, right? Say, oh, I got you back, right? I'll pay you back, sure. But it's very smart for Jake to actually loan this money, but then he's actually accepting this loan while not being able to afford the rent on this massive G1 warehouse thing that they're renting. Now obviously rent for these things is going to be expensive too, so if they have the inability of not being able to pay the rent for that and they're accepting loans, I'm assuming what's going on here is they were thinking that they were going to take some loans from Jake and some loans from others. They're going to sell a ton of pre-built PCs during the Christmas time when everyone's buying PCs for everyone out there. Like obviously there's going to be a lot more sales of pre-built PCs during that period of time, and then they'll be able to make all the money back. But obviously it didn't turn out that way, and you can see that the plot has thickened pretty bad here, and we have a bunch of bad actors and a bunch of people accepting a ton of debt and a ton of loans that they can't actually pay back. Let's see what Jake has to say on the next part.
The reality is, Gamers First has failed to repay me the loan within our agreed time frame. And based on Kenny's actions and knowledge during this process, we believe that Kenny's personal liability is justified too. This industry has always had non-payment issues, but the only way this will change is if people are held accountable for their actions. It's unfortunate that it's come to this, but I'm left with no other choice than to pursue this matter in court.
Damn, so there you have it. Jake has given his full and his entire legal statement on this issue. And obviously he wants to keep it professional here. You know, he's not trying to, publicly name and shame these guys and try to make them look extremely bad. That could obviously have bad repercussions for him potentially. I don't know, they could like defamation stuff. I'm not trying to get into all that legal jargon and all of that stuff, but obviously he's just trying to keep it professional, which is smart on him. Obviously he just wants to get his $100,000 back that he loaned, and he's hoping that by putting some, public pressure in a fair legal statement that people would pay up, right? Because obviously there's a lot of money that has been invested in G1. There's probably a lot of money that's been invested in Evolve PCs, this pre-built PC company, and they don't want to just completely tarnish their public reputation or have to, file for bankruptcy and all of that. But the reality is that's probably what it's looking like right now. I mean, when you go through all the replies and you go through all the reposts that everyone has, it seems like they owe a ton of debt, and they don't even stand a chance of making good on all of these debts at this point in time. And even if they did make good on all these debts at this point in time, the reputation is pretty well tarnished. And when you go and you look on Twitter and you look on their social media, it's been a few days since this is actually posted, and you got nothing coming from these guys. Complete ghost town over there. They're not reposting this, they're not replying to any of this, they haven't given any sort of formal statement in any way. They're basically just letting it go all the way down the drain. They've got their reputations, their companies that they've built a lot on seemingly going down the drain. Now obviously if we do get an update from them and they give us a proper statement where they talk about these things, then of course we'll talk about them and we'll see what happened. And maybe there is some factors that we didn't bring into account here, and maybe not all of this was entirely their fault, but obviously from the situation as it sits right now, it doesn't look very good for them. Seems like they just accepted a ton of loans, a ton of money, and they had no viable way of actually paying it back. Now obviously this does happen to people from time to time, which is a thing that you see more from like a bank or something. Like, yeah, your company has to file for bankruptcy and stuff like that. It just stings a little bit more. It seems a little more painful when you're like kind of borrowing directly from your friends and your colleagues and people that seemingly trusted you, which is why Jake was willing to give him such a massive amount of money. I mean, $100,000 $100,000 is no small loan by any means, right? He gave him $100,000, and to not pay that back and to have all of this chaos and all of this mess is definitely sad. It's definitely frustrating. Good on Jake to, you know, try to trust a friend and try to help someone out, help them build their business, like their pre-built PC business. Good on him for doing that and loaning them that money, I guess. But it sucks that it's going to probably end up burning him. Hopefully he can win this. Hopefully he gets his money paid back to him in full, and his legal fees and everything, obviously, because now he's got all this on top of that. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens with time. We'll have an update when we see what happens with this actual lawsuit. We'll bring you those details when we get them. But until then, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you up to date on all the news and drama in Destiny 2. Smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.